Howdy, 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 and thank you for joining me tonight, folks. Tonight we got a really interesting topic. It's something that is not spoken about. As a matter of fact, the other night when I was speaking with Cheryl and we were talking about this topic, it was something we brought up numerous times that, you don't hear anyone talking about this topic. You don't see it in the chats. You don't see other people doing lives or even recorded content on it. And I said, this is, let's do this. We got to bring this in. So please welcome our guest who is a member of the family here, our good friend, Cheryl.
Good evening, lovelies. How are you? Hello, John. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm coasting. So.
Jolly good. Wonderful.
Yeah. We were the other night after our live, the Monday Fun Day, we were talking about, Scientology, the effects on family and things like that. And you were talking about your dad and how, even though he wasn't in, he was still going through auditing and how things would happen. And someone would come over and talk to him, tell him how he's got to get his butt over and get audited, go someplace and get it done. And I was just like, you never hear about this. The only time I've ever heard of it was when that slag troll was doing the videos about, was
Karen?
Who's that?
Karen de la Carriere?
Karen de la Carriere, yeah, when he was doing the videos about her. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. And yeah, Marilee, yeah, I'm not dead yet, but boy, it felt like it last night. But the thing is that it's a topic you don't hear from anybody. No one's talking about this. I would figure you would have heard about it from the channels that do a lot of the old news about Scientology and stuff like that, but you don't even hear it from them. So, before we go into it too deep, why don't you let everybody know about your history with Scientology and how it is that you know what you know about these things.
Thank you, John. Okay, so trigger warning, because I'm going to bring something up that's a bit triggery. So trigger warning to people in the chat, okay? So my dad was one of the first Sea Org members. He was one of the first Scientologists when L. Ron Hubbard was putting all this together in the late 50s. My dad became a Scientologist in 1961, and he was one of the first Sea Project. It wasn't called the Sea Org back then. It was the Sea Project. The first boat was Avon River, which was captained by Hannah Eltringham, and then I believe, and then the second one was the Royal Scotsman. The Royal Scotsman. I believe Hannah was the captain on that one too. I know that for sure because my dad doesn't like her for some reasons. And then the next ship was the Apollo. So my dad was both on the Royal Scotsman, and then he blew, and then he went back to the Apollo for a stint. Then he came out and he was just public for years. He did all the grades. He was an OT7. He did the whole thing. He did every course there was at that time while L. Ron Hubbard was alive. So he was one of the toppy-tippiest Scientologists.
That was before they came out with the updated OT8, isn't it?
Yes, because that didn't come out until after LRH had died. So even after my dad had been out for years, he got called in because my cousin got declared. He got called into the Fort Harrison. He got called into Flag because she got declared. And he said, and these are his, he walked through like Billy Big Bollocks. Everyone, they're like, oh, yeah. And they're not like that to people. They don't treat people like that. But, they're like, oh, this gentleman, Mr. Fullerton, he spent time with LRH. Oh, he was kind of special.
Right.
So my dad was in Scientology. He declared my mother an SP because she wouldn't join, and then declared me at 15 months old an SP. And he sent us away. It was a surprise. He came home one day with 2 tickets back to England from America. And he's like, go. And that's just because my mom didn't want to join Scientology. She'd gone down to the org. She held onto the cans. And back in those days, they really were soup cans. They weren't these cans they make now. They were real soup cans, hollowed out. and she said it was a load of bollocks and she didn't want to do it. So the org Scientology told him, you have to get rid of her and the child, because the child is Dev T. So that was my name. So he came home with 2 tickets, and that broke my mom. So after that, that was not great for her heart and her emotional well-being. It wasn't a good thing. So we went back to England, and basically I grew up in the house of a pedophile from the age of 15 months to the age of 8 until my mother remarried a Spanish man and we went off to Spain. So the first 8 years of my life weren't great. The first 15 months, apparently, we had to have a lot of silence in the house. My dad put up pictures of things on the walls and every day would hold me and make me point my finger at things and which wasn't a bad thing to do, you know, like I guess it made me slightly intelligent. I like reading books. But from the beginning, he would talk to me like I was just an adult. And my mom said it was effing weird. So mom and I went off. It was horrible. And my dad just fast around on ships with L. Ron Hubbard for the following years through the 60s and 70s. And like I said, he climbed all the way up the bridge. Then L. Ron Hubbard, problems started with L. Ron Hubbard, and he was in hiding. Well, my dad made friends with a group of the executives at the time. David Mayo was one of them. I know he's one of the big names. I can't remember some of the others right now. But they kind of broke off from Scientology. They stole a bunch of the tech. And they went up to Santa Barbara and they opened their own org. My dad used to spend a lot of time up there apparently with them. And they were trying to get their own. Those guys back there in LA and stuff, they're all squirreling. We're going to do the original tech the way LRH intended it because we know the tech. We were with him. We did all the techie tech with L. Ron Hubbard himself. So these guys they were pissed. They just didn't like what was happening, how things were breaking up. Pat and Annie Broker was supposed to take over, but somehow they didn't. And we got COB Tiny Little Davy instead. So things weren't looking good in the Scientology world at that time. There were divisions and splits, the same as there are in everything, same as there is in SPTV, apparently.
Right.
Not that I know. So then the Scientology somehow fair gamed that whole Santa Barbara org, and they took it over. It's theirs. They have an org there now, I believe, still, or a mission. Something. No, not a mission, an org. So my dad kind of left. He got out of Scientology. He didn't like what was going on. He didn't like the changeover. He didn't like how they were telling everyone they had to redo everything again and repay for everything. Now, my dad's a Scot. He's a man from Scotland. And the one thing he would say, these words would come flying out of his mouth, is, I'm a miser. And he didn't like paying for things. Now, as we know, Scientology is very expensive. And back in the day, my mom used to complain about how much money he was spending on it. He'd already spent all his money on Scientology. He didn't want to spend any more. So he got really upset that they were telling him he had to redo everything. And he's like, but I'm a class 4 auditor. I'm trained with LRH. Like, what the hell are you telling me to redo anything? What? So he pulled away. Now, this is where I don't think the Scientology tech is going to disappear anytime soon. Is because out there, behind the veil, there is what's called the Freezone, or the independent Scientologist groups. One of them being called the Theta Alliance. And these are people who are either old-timey Scientologists who did the original tech, like my dad did, and that's what they want to keep doing. They don't want to do all this new golden age of anything. You can shove it. They don't want any of that. That's all squirrel. That's all squirrel. They don't want to have anything to do with that tech. They just want to do the original tech the way LRH intended it. And if that comma is missing in that book, that's the book they're going to read, not the new one with a comma in it, wherever you put it, David. So there are groups of people out there that still audit each other, because the one thing about Scientology and Scientologists is they get addicted to being audited. They believe the theta machine, the e-meter, reads their mind and can tell what they're engramming, and they can tell what's going on, and when they have something in there that needs to be looked into. And even if they kind of half don't believe it, still the sessions themselves are very relieving for people. It's like going to therapy. It's like going to your therapist. Just imagine you go to a therapist every day for years, every day, and you spend hours getting everything out. That's what you used to. That's what.
Well, isn't that essentially a lot like with what they're doing in auditing? Is they're just basically going to a therapy session.
Yeah.
You know, it's just they're not there with someone who's an accredited therapist.
Oh, no, not at all. Yeah, the person on the other end who's holding that theta machine doesn't have a clue really what they're doing. They think they do because LRH told them to, but we know everything LRH wrote is a bunch of crap.
It's basically like a self-therapy session almost then.
Well, it is, though. So for them, it is. It is. And it's a way to clear things up. It's a way to get things out. It's a way to you get a relief from it.
Yeah.
Jefferson
Hopkins wants to know what your dad's name was. He might have met him.
Oh, God. Samuel Fullerton. He was very unpleasant. So you would remember him by that more than anything.
And Lizzie says you're a powerful warrior. She's happy to have started watching your streams.
Thanks, love. Appreciate that.
And everybody who got a membership gifted to them by Sir Crepitus, if you got one, please make sure you let him know you appreciate it. Thank you, Bill. And Bill's going to be on tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about a lot of the stuff that's going on with the LAPD and things like that. You know, two old retired cops sitting here talking, chewing the fat, talking about what's screwed up about LAPD, about basically all the stuff that's going on out there, and some information that's been dug up about the these new restraining orders that have gone out. Let's see.
Looking forward to those.
I didn't know that the e-meter emitted any electricity. When I showed a schematic of it to a friend who's an electrician, they said, "Why are you showing me the schematic for an ohm meter?" So,
well, that's what it is. It's an ohm meter. They taught us what those were in school when I was learning things. Okay, so it's not the e-meter that helps release dopamine. It's the fact that they're used to sitting there being hypnotized by going through these rudiments, doing these steps every day, the same ritualistic steps every day. It causes you know, a pattern where your brain goes, oh, this is safe, this is good, and you release dopamine and neurotransmitters that make you feel happy and good.
And that's what I was going to say is that you get that dopamine release that's going to make you feel calm and tranquil. It's like people who they're, you know, placebos basically, where folks are, you know,
that's what it is.
Control group, half gets a placebo, half gets the real thing. Yet both of them, you get a certain amount from both groups that are feeling the exact same thing, even though one half wasn't getting anything. So it's a placebo. That the power of the placebo in the mind is so incredible. It really is. I've seen it in my family. How do they use e-meters and everything with the freezoners or the independents?
Oh yeah. Okay, so they use the original tech. They're doing the tech the way they were taught. Like my dad was a class 4 auditor. He learned on the ship with L. Ron Hubbard. And whoever was on the ship at the time. So to him, he learned the right and correct way, because L. Ron Hubbard, every word that man wrote to my dad was, oh yes, L. Ron Hubbard.
Ron Hubbard never lied. You know, he had a direct connection with the universe none of us will ever have. But
he spent time with him and he saw the charm. I don't know if he saw his teeth, but he's the charm.
Yeah. You know, and that's, you know, when you talk to folks, like when I've talked to Karen Delacarriere, when I've talked to Janice Gillum Grady from, our Scientology stories. I talked to them about, what was LRH like, and they both basically say the same thing. He was very, very, he's the kind of person, he was a magnet, just drew people in with his whole, he was a big guy who had these fantastic stories, seemed to be so intelligent and everything. So, I can understand it. Your dad's sitting there, and how old was he when he first got into Scientology?
Oh, he was in his early 30s, mid 30s when he got in the 60s. Yeah.
So here you go.
He was just like the Kool-Aid. He drank all the Kool-Aid. He's in love all these years with LRH.
Well, I think within every cult, what you get is you got people who are somewhat lost in their search for a spiritual base camp, basically. And they're basically treading water, trying to find dry land to save them. And they get brought in by these charismatic people who just seem to have all the answers. They seem like everything is perfect in their life and everything that they're doing. And I mean, here you got LRH, who's not only a prolific science fiction writer, basically wrote more than anyone has ever done, but here's a guy who's trying to build his own navy at the same time he's starting a church. So, I mean, this guy, talk about somebody who could really get people to jump on deck with what he's doing. That was the person there. So I can understand seeing David Miscavige come in, and the way Dave Miscavige is he seems, the feeling I get, arrogant ass is what I get every time I see this guy talk, the way I see him do anything, just absolute arrogance. Nobody knows anything but me, worship me kind of stuff. To go from being there in the presence, talking to Hubbard, and then you got this dwarf who comes in who is arrogant. He couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag, but he's wanting everybody on their knees in front of him. So I could see your dad being upset about that.
Yeah, my dad can't stand David Miscavige. Oh my God. He was even happy. Years ago, he called me, "Did you see what Leah Remini's doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, Dad." He goes, "It's good. It's good. I hope she brings him down." I'm like, "Holy moly. You go, boy. All right." That was the first time I ever heard him go against Scientology.
Yeah, you see that with everything. When the old guard is stepping away or they're being replaced, and the new guard comes in, there's always the people who were committed to the old guard are going to have real issues with making that transfer over to it. So I can see this. I saw it in law enforcement, and like you said, we're seeing it here in SPTV, where you have the old guard of Render, the Headleys, those folks. They were top of the mountain, but now you've got folks like Aaron, Nat, Marilyn Honig. These folks are coming in and they're drawing a much bigger base than the old guard is. So I can understand there's a feeling of defensiveness that's going to come on their part. There's also this feeling of who are these people that they should get more attention than I do. So I can see all that, because we're seeing it right here firsthand in our world. I mean, some of the things that are going on are really starting to get into I wonder if there's going to be a replay of the movie Misery coming up by the way certain people are acting. Watch your
ankles, Aaron. Watch your ankles.
Yeah, I mean, those are the things that worry me. I mean, the guy already got jumped in LA by someone that appears to not be sane, and from what I saw, what happened to be, I believe it was an email from Render himself saying that she was not mentally stable. So, I mean,
right. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Okay, so the Taryn video, Mike Render's daughter talking about Stephanie Hutchison, she did that video 3 years ago. Now, for some reason, that came in my purview like about 2 months ago. And I send it to you? I think I sent it to you. I sent it to Laurie. I'm like, oh my God, because I didn't want to make a fuss about Stephanie. I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want, I'm like, oh, drama. I don't want to get involved in that. But you know what? Then Catherine stepped into the comments, and
I love that one. But you know, I can't sit and have the things that are being said without responding, because I've said it many times before. If you don't challenge what you believe to be a false statement, at some point it's going to be said enough it becomes the truth.
Right.
And you have to challenge it. You have to get out there and make that stand. And Lord knows, you know me, I would rather be doing Monday Fun Days and doing videos on how to keep yourself safe while you're out there protesting than having to talk about this stuff. But it just keeps coming up. Here's a good question. Indigo Twin, when you escape Scientology, doesn't that put you on equal footing? You're considered SPs and have to start over from scratch. Or did your father just continue on from the point he was at?
When he left, he was already OT7. He'd done it all. He was at the tippy top. He was just auditing other people and helping other people, train, get through.
And I want to make a distinction here. You said your dad was a level 4 auditor?
He was a class 4 auditor. I know so far in the writings that he's left behind, which I'm going to have to read out one day, Tales from the Crypt, he mentions in there that on the ship on the Royal Scotsman with LRH, he became a class 4 auditor. Okay. And he was real pissy about all these other people on board that weren't doing their thing and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And so Scientology, it's great.
Well, talking about that, when I hear people talking about Karen de la Carriere doing the auditing and all that, what was Karen's class as an auditor?
Okay, well, she's a class 12. Now, Karen de la Carriere is the very last class 12 trained auditor. Like, I know Louis Repetto, I don't know what class he is, but I do know that she is a class 12, and she's the very last one, the very last kind. She trained with LRH. She knows the original tech. So when people leave, they have contacted her. Like, I remember hearing Doug Kramer talk about it a lot, and he used to get very upset about it. Right. So some people, like Stephen Mango, apparently he came out of Scientology, and I've been following Stephen Mango for years since he started putting out videos. He went to Karen, and I think she charged him, and some auditing. Anyway, there's I don't know what happened over there, but I read something real quickly. And I know Karen has possibly audited some people since she's left Scientology. For example, my cousin was declared an SP. She was thrown out of the sandcastle. Wow. And even years later, she never changed. Her mind never changed. She was a Scientologist the whole time. She'd been in it her whole life. So you can't change them. You just can't. And she had contracted bowel cancer. Well, instead of getting any chemo or radiation or anything done, she started taking supplements every day. Lots of, like 3 times a day, she would sit there and take these drops that they're just supplements for hours and hours, and sit under infrared lights and sit with an oxygen machine. And then she would, on the daily, go on Skype and be audited for $400 an hour, someone in Australia, every day. She would pay someone to get auditing to get rid of her bowel cancer. Now, my dad in the background's running around going, she needs to get her ethics in. That's why she's got cancer. She needs to get her ethics in. Which is a really ugly thing to say about a family member who's dying from cancer, but that's how they are. It had nothing to do with her ethics. She just needed to go to a bloody doctor and listen to them and do what they told her. But instead, she was getting auditing every day, because to her, that was going to clear her body, her genetic entity, and it was going to give her freedom, and it was going to release everything, because she's a clear Thetan, OT6. Well, no, then they had to, she had a surgery, and after surgery, usually you do some kind of chemo or something. She still refused, kept sitting there taking all these supplements every day, because that's what they do, and she died. And I miss her. She should be here today. I miss her a lot. and it pisses me off. So I go out there and I think about her when I'm walking by the sandcastle. She used to live in the penthouse in the Oaks. Every time I think about her when I'm out there. And I just wish she would have listened to me. She thought I was degraded and stupid.
Well,
She loved me, but like
that's what happens, when you completely drink the Kool-Aid and believe the tech. You're going to act that way. You're going to feel that way because you're at the pinnacle, and those who haven't even made it up haven't gone clear yet. They have no idea what they're doing to themselves. And she's thinking the same thing about you that you're thinking about her.
Yeah, exactly.
If Cheryl would just come in and get audited, take her niacin like a good girl, she wouldn't have so many problems. She wouldn't be going off to these crazy festivals in the desert in California and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So,
what is she doing now?
Indigo Twin was asking, there's different classes of auditors. And wouldn't anyone auditing after Dave took over be considered squirrels because you can't rewrite Hubbard's original words? I would say no, because the way Dave got around that was to say, just like you were talking about earlier, it wasn't a matter of rewriting it. There was mistakes.
It was found. Right. There was a mistake and it was found. It doesn't matter. To my dad, that was squirreling. Everything was fine as it was. You didn't need to change anything. And it shouldn't be changed because that's what LRH said. Nothing should ever be changed. It's a crime to change it. And that was it to my dad. So anything that was done by Miscavige is just all degraded squirrelness.
I agree with him. I mean, that's the thing. And Marjan was wondering how people afford to pay $400 a day for this stuff. I think they pretty much robbed Peter to pay Paul.
So you're a beautiful lady, like my cousin was, and then you go on course. You get some course at Flag. And at lunchtime, when they let you all out, because you can't talk about what happened in the course with each other, this is how Scientologists find love. This is how my dad found his wife. They find each other. Oh, I have a feeling about you. I think you and I were together in a past life. Can't you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
And she would find men with money. Because if you're already taking a course at Flag, you probably got money.
Yeah.
So that's how she did it. And that's how she ended up at the penthouse at the Oaks across from Flag. And that's how she ended up at the Sandcastle. Someone else always paid for it somehow.
Yeah,
she managed to find the money somewhere. That's how my dad found his wife. She was 18. He was 30 something in his mid to late 30s. And he was walking by the restaurant. He saw her through the window and old Scientologists do the shooting thing. They shoot energy at you. My dad was always he was either shooting bullets at you or ARC love, not love, but like, what word would it be? Like, I'm trying to get your energy, I'm pulling your energy in. And so he would always shoot at people. So he shot at her like this. And he walked in the restaurant and he goes, "You're going to be my wife." And of course, she's just this little 19-year-old. She went, and he did this whole Scientology thing. We've been together in a past life. I can feel it, blah, 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 blah. And they get all, and boom, married.
Yeah.
And on the ship, he married her ass, and he took her on the Apollo.
Oh my gosh! If you got that, you got that sway. You got that sway. That's all there is.
So then I come to learn reading my dad's writings. Oh, and I hate this because then it makes me think of Jamie Mustard. That while they were on ship, my dad was on course and doing stuff and auditing other people, and she took care of the kids. His wife took care of the children. She never wanted children. She didn't like children. She didn't like me. So I can't imagine the crappy care those children received from this woman. These Sea Org member children. Oh my God, I can't. So I just found out that she used to look after the kids. And I'm hoping, she was way before Jamie, but still, it just breaks my heart and makes me think of, because I know what kind of person she was. She didn't like kids, didn't like being around kids. But
And
that's what, if
really
you're a
feel-
woman in the Sea Org, you're looking after someone else's kid at some point for some reason.
Yeah.
Ask Alicia. Yeah, it's,
And Cajun Mama says, I know how to get a rich man. I knew him in a past life. LOL.
yeah. Do that. Do the, hey, remember, oh, do you like Led Zeppelin? I remember you and I used to love Led Zeppelin in a past life, but it wasn't Led Zeppelin, it was Mozart, remember? Just shit like that. And you will,
You know why we connect over this music? Because we were there when it was written.
exactly.
When it was played. Don't you feel it in your aura that
It's from our time on the track, times part. Yeah, it's like, oh my God. And like sometimes I'd be talking to my cousin and I'd ask her about family, like, oh, do you remember Nana doing this, that, and the other? And she go, hold on, let me go through the track. And she would scan. She's like, I'm scanning my track. Like, I didn't ask you to go through your 78 million years worth of lives. I just asked you about Nan.
Yeah.
Like, can we have a normal conversation?
I'm really interested how they could have, real family dynamics when you believe that everyone that is in your family was someone else before they were born who they are now. And I just, to me, it's really interesting. How can you actually feel as a father or a mother when you're believing garbage like that? That's,
See, they kind of don't care because we've always been together, the same people, the same beings. We've always been together in any other lives. We've been each other's mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, cousins, before. So we've always, so it doesn't matter if I drop dead right now. I'm going to see you again in the next life. So see ya.
Yeah.
And that's why my dad was so cold on his way out. I'm like trying to get some love from him and share something, some kind of warmth. And there was none.
What are you complaining about, huh?
See you on the mothership. Don't follow the light.
I'll see you next week. Don't worry about it. I'll be back.
Don't go to the light.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing to me. It's callous is how it feels. There's a callous nature to this whole thing.
Very cold and unloving, and it makes one feel very sad sometimes.
Let's see here. Cricket Cinema, any idea if there was any issue or controversy about having LRH writings translated, lest the message be altered?
No, because they made sure that they try to keep it, and a lot of it was translated after the fact, after LRH, because until then, what did they have? Dutch, English,
Japanese.
Maybe they had it in French, already Japanese.
They probably have it in Filipino and or Pinoy and Thai, because they have orgs in the Philippines and missions in the Philippines and missions in Taiwan. Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure they've been real tight, making sure every word is exact to LRH. Well, whatever David Miscavige says it is now. So I know people have been mad at Karen de la Carriere for auditing people, but some people, like I said, they get this. It's like an addiction. It's a need. It helps them. And if they can find last 12 audits, are you kidding me? Yeah. You want to go to Karen? She's a really good. If you're going to get auditing, go to Karen.
Go to the top of the top. I mean, come on. And I mean, quite honestly, you're expecting someone who you were paying Scientology oodles of money to get audited when you were in. How could you expect someone to do it for free now that you're out? I mean, that goes against the mantra of Scientology, doesn't it?
Totally, because you're out exchange, and you can't be out exchange ever. You just can't be out exchange. If someone gives you something, they expect something back. Like you have to give them something back in an equal form amount,
Yeah, and that's
Pinche Becky, hola hermana.
Hola mia. Let's see. Oh yeah, and everybody congratulate Sir Crepitus. He's been on errands quite a bit lately. I noticed his channel jumped up to almost 3,000 subs already. Congratulations, brother. Becky didn't catch it live. Well, that's because Becky's jealous. We all know what's going on with that. So welcome, Becky. You know we love you. I last time I talked to Karen Perth, she wasn't doing the auditing anymore.
Yeah, she's not. It's not like she's an auditor. It's not like that's what she's doing with her time.
Yeah.
It's not at all. I'm not saying any of that. I don't know Karen myself. I would love to meet her. Actually, I really would. I've watched all
Well,
the
get
videos.
you guys together.
Oh, I can't wait. That's why when we go out to LA, I hope I get to meet Jeffrey and I get to meet her. I really do. And Tori so bad. Oh, Tori.
Yeah, I talked.
I'm not saying that Karen's. But I think that if someone goes to her, it's not like she's going to say no. She knows how to do it. She's trained, and they're asking for it.
And I would say that a lot of people seek her out for it from the way that it's been told to me. So,
they do.
And Mona Fat Grammy was asking, do a lot of people leaving stay independent, or how many find a different faith? I would say with the numbers who have blown, that you know, with the numbers who have blown as compared to the numbers who have become public that they're no longer in Scientology, I would say there's a lot of people who are under the radar that are still practicing. So, you know, that's the thing is, I think that there's far more, I would say probably 70-30 on the split, 70% being under the radar, 30% being public. Because we just don't see as many people that are like jumping into SPTV or even talking to the other other people who are no longer in. But we know that people are jumping this ship like rats. So it's you know, it's pretty good. And Bill, I took a look earlier. I thought it said you had 2.7 thousand subs, so that's pretty close to 3,000. So yeah, you're getting up there, brother. I'm real happy to see that for you. And
rocking it out. No, and it was good content too. It was good.
Yeah, and you got to think, just a month ago he was, under 500. So he's doing really good.
And he was just hanging out in the comment section, and now we get him all the time. It's wonderful.
Yeah, now he won't shut up. No, I'm just so, and I was just looking, for someone who's out, which I'm pretty sure most of them already have their own stuff, or they took it with them when they left. But I mean, if you don't have it, you can literally go on eBay, and for $150, you can buy an old one. Or
I've got one of them. Yeah.
I don't know what a Model 7 Quantum E is, but
that's that one.
This one right here, the Supermodel 7. Well, wants me to sign in. Quantum E-meter. It's a Hubbard Professional. You got your own.
Well, I've got 3. I've got one of the old ones, the wooden one. That's in here. This is my dad's original. This is original from way back in the day. One of the first old ones.
Look at that. And it really does look like an ohm meter.
It is, because that's all it flipping is.
Yeah.
And then I've got that one. And then I've got his Mark 7 there, which is basically, my uncle gave me this one because he's moving. So, and here's one of the Mark 7.
Don't they look like a 1980s sci-fi dash from a spaceship or something?
Yeah, I feel like Uhura. Lieutenant Uhura.
I'm picking up a signal. Yeah, this is it's amazing to me. We're gonna have to do a live where we actually do an auditing session live on air. I think that would be tremendous.
I want to do. That's what I want. Lou Repetto to come on. He's so good. He's good.
Oh no. We need Karen to do an auditing session of us in LA. Oh. I'll get hold of Jeffrey and see about setting that up. I think that, what do you guys think? You think we should set it up and try to get Karen to do an auditing session for Cheryl and I while we're in LA? I think that would be amazing. Someone said the Mark 7 looks like a 70s telephone. Oh my God.
I wonder if it picks up HBO. Yeah, so that's I've got 3 of them.
Yeah,
and I don't know how to use them.
First Scientology audit was, she had put a comment in earlier. I didn't get a chance to pull it up. We were talking too much, but she talks to Freezoners. They're interesting and strange at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're out, but they're in, but they're out, but they're in. So
Yep.
they're not fully that, but they're not fully this. Right. So there's a gentleman, there's a big group of them in Reno, Nevada. There's a gentleman at the head of the group. It's the Theta Alliance. I'm not making, I'm not an ad for anyone, trust me. And like every year, this guy, he's got like balls of steel. Look, he sends my dad Christmas cards and stuff. Ray Robles is his name. I've talked to him on the phone because my dad's like, I'm going to get you audited by this guy one day. I'm going to get you audited in Reno. So anyway.
Martha also came up with a great idea. Now, Martha, I wasn't talking about Aaron Smith Levin. I was talking about Karen Della Carriere. She was a class 12 auditor, but Serge also might be a good candidate. Lewis, Serge, or Karen.
I know. See, I don't know what class. I forget what class Serge was and what class Lou were. But I mean, obviously, they're like auditors, so they know what they're doing. But I do know that Karen's the last class 12 left on this forsaken prison planet.
And and Thomas says, as long as you film Poe as a never end, I want to see what he has to say. It'd be interesting. But I think I'd be boring to an auditor. I don't really do stuff that would be considered out ethics. So I don't know. Well, I mean, other than SPTV.
You don't know that, John, until you look. You have to go inside.
I've got to dig into my past lives. But,
get on that track.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's see. And someone was asking if you would audit them, but do you know how to audit?
No, and I wouldn't want to. Nuts? No, I'll give you Reiki. I'm a Reiki master. I'll bliss you out in 20 minutes, but no, I'm not auditing you. Go to Karen. No, like, and see, there are people, like there are groups out there. There are groups worldwide. Freezone and independent Scientologists. They all know each other. The reason my cousin got declared was because my father gave her the number to some Freezoners in Texas. So she started getting some auditing from these Freezoners in Texas. Somehow Flag found out. And that's why they're like, you're squirreling, you're breaking all the rules, you're a criminal. She got declared because of my dad.
Keep talking for a second. I gotta go take Roscoe scratching at the door. Let him
yes. Yes, Roscoe. Yeah, so it's kind of funny that my dad got my cousin in trouble, and then he got really upset after she got declared when they called him in to Flag to because they wanted to sec check him, and he's like, I'm not paying for any of this. I'm not doing any of this. You declared her. That's fine. You declared her. I know what to do. I'm not disconnecting. I won't be close to her, but I'm not disconnecting. And so it was a big old thing because, like I said, he used to walk through. He said he walked through Flag like Billy Big Bollocks. Like, I can do whatever I want. I was LRH's buddy. And as a Scotsman, he had a very angry personality. So everyone moved out of his way. They would like, okay, let him go. Just open the door, let him go. Because they regged him, though. They regged the hell out of him because I have a bunch of freaking CDs and congresses from LRH. I have boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of LRH congresses and CDs.
That's amazing.
Should I make Christmas ornaments out of them?
Yeah, there you go. Jefferson Hawkins says, from what he's seen, the indie movement is an easy step out of Scientology. All the indies he knew are now all the way out. So
We'll see. It depends. Yeah, it just depends, and it depends if all your family is still in. Are you going to stay in Scientology, or at least the mindset, just so you can be with your family? Like my dad, he pulled out, and he didn't have. He was getting some of the other family in, the youngest, but he pulled out altogether, but his head stayed in. And then other people like Aaron and whatnot, they'll come out and they'll go, oh, yeah, I don't want to do any of this anymore. And they're not Scientologists anymore. It just depends. It depends. Everyone's different. And
that's what I was going to say. Everyone's different. Pinche wants to know if you're a Reiki master. She was told by hers that she should tap into hers. but too scared to do it. What does that mean?
Oh, scared girl, that's your inner strength. That's your inner power. No, 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 no. It just helps everything else along when you go, hey, is that? Okay, that's cool. I like it. I'll use it.
Okay.
No, yeah. When I come out to LA, we'll do a little ooga booga. Oh no, ooga booga is bad stuff. Ooga booga Scientology stuff. We don't do ooga booga. That's Scientology.
What is a Reiki master?
Reiki is a tradition. It's a Japanese tradition. It's the Japanese tradition, John. From Usui Mikao. He started the whole thing. It's a cult. Of course, I'm in another cult. And there are basically 3 levels to it. And you're not sharing your energy with anyone. You basically open yourself up to where the energy is flowing through you. And
like
you are sending that healing. It's just energy healing. Now it's hands off or hands on. Mainly it's hands off, but I sometimes did, quite a lot of hands on.
Right.
Because I was a massage therapist, so I like touching people. So it's just a healing. If you have a session, it's very relaxing. It's very relaxing. And I clear your chakras, all your chakras. I clear those out and get them spinning nice and fresh again. It's like giving a little Febreze through your chakras. And it's just very relaxing, and it's supposed to cleanse your aura.
Like this.
It's healing.
Is this?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Root, base, brow, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral. What's sacral?
Sacral is your lower part. Is your where your pelvis is.
Oh, okay. It's the naughty bits. Let's see. Crown, spirituality, higher self. Huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But they all look almost like Indian nomenclature.
Well, they are.
Are they?
They are. So it basically they work on the chakras, but it is a Japanese tradition which kind of includes its energy healing. So the chakras have been included, and so basically it depends what state you're in. You're living in one of these energy centers of yours is spinning higher than the others, and sometimes it needs to be relaxed. Or if you have a problem with someone, it's showing up in your. So I can go around feeling you, and I can feel certain things, and I clean them out. So it's just like believing thetans are on you, and you need them audited out. It's just something else that us humans believe. See,
I knew there was a hippie vibe coming off of you, so I knew it was there somewhere. So, I mean, when you talked about the drum circles, I was like, yeah.
Well, that's also very healing, and it's very, the sound of the universe, mother, and the cosmos, and
She says you guys need to talk.
Cuando venga a Los Angeles, sister, we'll have a good old platica.
And she's wearing her chakra stone earrings right now.
Ooh, very nice. Good. Keeping your aura cleansed. Because as protesters, we need to keep our aura free of debris, free of thetans.
Free of LAPD.
Free of LAPD-ness.
Yeah. So, and I think that tomorrow night, when Sir Crepitus comes on, we've got some pretty interesting things about what's been going on with those personal protection orders, or what do they call those? The peace bonds, or whatever you want to call them, restraining orders and all that. There's some interesting things going on in that. And, it's just going over a lot of what's been going on with LAPD. It's going to be crazy.
That guy, Danny, he didn't even touch him. Remember, I was going off the other day. He didn't touch him. Anyway, so that was just very, very, very upsetting. The whole thing. I'm just glad Michael's out, but he's in pain. Temporary restraining order. I know, Danny. He's making food for the homeless, and he gets a TRO. Like, shut up, people! Oh, bloody Scientologists!
He got assaulted by somebody, and then gets arrested for assaulting that person, even though he's not the one who did the assault. I mean,
how does that work? I mean, we've seen it with our own eyes.
It seems like LAPD has this whole process where if you're a protester and you want someone arrested for a private party arrest, then their thing is that they want both parties to be arrested. But yet if it's someone who wants a protester arrested, they're not demanding that both parties get arrested in it. So it's a very interesting narrative they've got going on there. And yeah, Marjan, I think that this is, very much like the Native American energy forces and things like that. I saw that with my grandfather and going through the ceremonies, and most people think about your spirit animal, those kinds of things when they think about Native American spirituality, but there's so much more to it. Oh, yours
so
is a mosquito?
More. Dragonfly.
Yeah, mosquito. There we go.
Because I'm like, it's just like a dragonfly.
And Dianetics is here, and she says, "Hi, Cheryl. Had to learn Reiki in massage therapy school. Yes. Chakra ideology stems from Vedic Hinduism, I believe.
Yes.
It's thousands of years old. You already know this. I'm chiming in so people understand. Yeah, it's
it comes from the old Vedic traditions, and then Mikao Sui in Japan did a thing, and kind of, and then when it was brought west, they really included more the Vedic stuff into it, because all the Westerners, we're all doing crystals and chakras, so they included it so it would be more marketable. I'm guessing.
You see a lot of that. You see a lot with a lot of these cults that come up out of nowhere. A lot of them include a lot of like the yoga rituals, things like that. They're using a lot of the Hinduism or the Buddhism kind of mantra.
Eastern beliefs. Right. We're going back to the old ancient beliefs.
Yeah. And, a lot of them, what they do is they'll combine different belief systems, and they'll act as though it's this million-year-old thought process that's been going on, when basically they just cherry picked what they wanted from each and every one of the different styles. And it's, it's really interesting stuff. And let's see, I'm trying to read what. So people don't think you're crazy. Okay. She's saying it so people don't think you're crazy. Chakra systems are the norm in the East.
Yes.
And it all depends. I mean, if because you got to remember, in every country over there, just like here in the United States, there's multiple religious beliefs. A lot of people, when they think India, they think Hinduism, but there's the Sikh religion. There's
Jainism. There's Muslims there. There's
Buddhism.
It depends what area you're from. Yeah, the Punjab or north, south, they all have different.
Punjabi. When
they all have different beliefs.
When I was in Malaysia is considered an Islamic country, but honestly, you'd think you were back in the United States with all the different types of churches or religious properties that were there. Even though they're Islamic by the way that the country's run and their beliefs, they still allow so many different religions to operate within their country, and it's pretty interesting.
It is, isn't it? It's really interesting. Yeah, at least they allow other religions.
Crazy Love is Love says, "Hello, Feral Cheryl."
Hello, love. I love watching you. You go, girl.
Yeah, it's just been, it's very interesting, but it's something that I think one of the things that makes them so popular here in the US is a lot of people, especially with what's happened with the different religious beliefs here in the United States and how things have gone, that when you bring in something, especially from the eastern part of the world, where people aren't, they're not familiar with that here. So they're seeing this and they're saying, oh, well, this is 5,000 years old. This is 10,000 years old. And it's been practiced all this time. And yeah, so they're, it's like Scientology itself, it's something that's different away from, a lot of religions get into a dogmatic kind of process where they make up their own rules depending on what denomination of the religion they are. And it happens with all of them. With the Muslims, you have all the different branches of Islam that people are studying with that. With Christianity, you have Catholicism, you have Methodist, Protestant, all these different sects or denominations within it. So even with, within the world of the Eastern meditation kind of spirituality, they have all their own different types in that as well. And
there's so many different type traditions, so many different traditions.
Yeah.
So
and
many.
if you were one of the people who got gifted a membership by Gary Mackey, make sure you let Gary know. And thank you for being in here, Gary. It's good to see you back.
Mr. Mackey. Okay.
Okay.
I couldn't help myself.
Let's see. SBTV Atlanta. Cheryl, have you considered coloring your amazing curls lavender? The color looks great on you.
Yeah. Actually, I was just talking to someone today about that. She's coming from Canada next week. She's she's awesome. And I met her. She flew out for the big meetup we had when Natalie came out and everyone came out. And she's coming back.
Tanya in Canada?
Tanya, she's coming back next week. So she's coming for a week. There we are. Yeah, come what you better go. So what was I saying? I forgot now. Tanya's coming.
You gotta get it done, huh?
Oh yeah. So she was talking about getting her hair done. I'm like, oh, I want to get my hair done. Let's do that. So we were just talking about that today.
That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta go get mine cut. It's unmanageable right now.
I know you need a haircut, John. I think you're getting a bit. Yeah, you look like a hippie.
Around, especially in the summertime, if I don't have it pretty much to the skin on the sides and the back, I just turn into a sweating machine. And there she is.
I know all about it.
Yeah,
it just
remember, like we were talking when I was younger, and it was all the way down to my hind end. I know your pain with that stuff, but being in the military, then as a police officer, being used to that, the pretty much the flat top buzz cut kind of feel, that's what I was used to. And you get used to that. And the fact that you don't have that hair on you, it's like having a blanket wrapped around your head.
Right. So, I bet it feels so good to get all that hair off you.
Oh, it does. It feels great. Let's see. Dianetics. When I realized Scientology was total crap at 22 years old, I joined the Hare Krishnas for 6 months. Got to make a video about that sometime. I was a weird drifter, I guess. You were a free spirit is what you were.
That's brilliant. See, from one to like me, I did the Landmark Forum. I've been in all kinds of other little
But, you see that with a lot of people who become disenfranchised with different religious beliefs is they bounce.
We're always seeking. We're on a journey. And that's what my dad was. And he thought he found it in Scientology because that's what he told me. Those were his words, basically. I was looking for the right way to live. And Scientology gave me that. And I'm like, well, I'm glad it gave you that. It took your family away from you, but it gave you that, whatever that was. Yeah. Good for you.
And SPTV Atlanta, hair metal. I like all music. But I'm more of a hardcore metal kind of guy or a death metal guy over hair metal. Let's see.
I used to go headbanging a lot at Hammersmith Odeon. And after one concert, I think it was the Blue Oyster Cult one, there was a guy in front of me who was just bloody annoying, bouncing around. I kept pushing him away from me. After the concert, the lights came on and he turned around and goes, "Oh, you're a girl." He thought I was a guy. And that's why he didn't punch me.
Oh, my goodness.
He goes, "Oh, I couldn't tell by the hair if you're a girl or a guy." I'm like, "Oh, watch it."
We were at a Misfits show in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I forget what the name of the place was, but it was one of those where you had the floor and then you had the balcony that went around it, and people were on the balcony and the floor. And we were watching this guy climbing the speakers and doing backflips into the crowd from the top of the speakers. And he was we were on the balcony and he was above us flipping into the crowd. And I'll never forget, after the concert was over, we're all waiting by the car and our buddy comes walking up and he's just beaten to a pulp. And we're like, "Dude, what happened to you?" He goes, "Oh, it was crazy, man. I was doing gainers and half pikes off of the speakers into the crowd." And we're like, "How do we explain this to your parents? We weren't even supposed to be at this concert tonight." So I think he actually told him. Yeah, we've had some crazy concert experiences. It's been awesome. Let's see.
There was always one silly bug climbing the loudspeakers, wasn't there, in the 80s? Always.
Oh, the craziest one for me was we went to the Royal Oak Music Theater, which is about 1,200. You could get about 1,200 people in there. we saw Motorhead, and Motorhead came in with their sound system for an arena. So they're bringing in a sound system for like a 15,000 seat arena into a place a tenth the size. And literally for 3 days after that concert, all I heard was, I couldn't hear anything. So, but it
did that to me when I lived there. Def Leppard, they did that to me.
Dianetics, I thought it was legit hedonism. My parents kept me away from anything Christian based. Hey man, you get to run around with a tambourine. It was a lot more fun than Scientology. There you go.
Do whatever, just don't become a Christian. Yeah, because
those awesome robes too.
That saffron color, it denotes wisdom. They're pretty.
Yeah, they're very unique. Do the women get to shave their heads like the men do?
No, I don't think so. Do they? I don't think so. No.
That takes all the
I used to go to the Hare Krishna temple in Laguna Beach. They used to put on a really good vegetarian buffet. And I was so bummed when they closed that down. It was the cheapest place to go in Laguna.
I'm sorry for anybody that's vegetarian or vegan, but I gotta have the meat. I can't eat grass. So
well, I would just go there to have my vegetarian meal, but then I'd go down to Miguel's to have tacos. I mean, don't get it wrong.
You're gonna have this great healthy salad meal and then go down and suck down a 5-pound burrito. So,
totally. Yeah. You got to balance things out.
With the cabeza, you got to have that head meat on there. That's the good stuff. So
I'm not eating that.
Oh my gosh, Gary Mackey's my favorite is still Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats and Slipknot, of course. I posted pictures and videos from when I took my son to his first Slipknot concert a couple years ago. That was awesome, and they're still just as good as they were back in the days when they were younger. They just don't move as much. So
right.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of crazy shows in my day. One of my favorites of all time is Alice in Chains. I think that some of their stuff like Nutshell and Black Gives Way to Blue, those are two of my favorite songs. So that's
yeah. I saw them at Lollapalooza more than once.
Let's see. Which messages were those? Crazy. Let me take a look here. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. Says survived today without the cops being called on her. So call that another win.
Hey, well done.
Had a family of 5 approach her, and they are getting things together so they can blow and be done with Scientology. Awesome. Did you?
A family of 5.
Wow. Make sure if they need it, get them in touch with SPTV Foundation. That's what they're there for.
That's awesome.
Mid Sunrise Dawn, let me just say, muscle relaxers make a big difference in things. So that's why I'm slow motion today. Let's see. Dianetics. Chicks don't shave their heads, but the leader was trying to put me in an arranged marriage. That's why I stopped going. Okay. Yeah, a lot of group next Christmas. Yeah.
It is a cult too. It is a cult too. It is.
Yeah. Didn't they do like the huge mass weddings?
That was the Moonies. I don't think the Hare.
Okay.
I don't think the Hare Krishnas did that. I think there are some other Indian sects back there that might do things like that, but yeah, no, I don't think it was.
That's awesome, Crazy. They are and have called the SPTV Foundation, so that's awesome.
Brilliant. That's wonderful.
That's good. Yeah,
see,
that's a definite win.
And you just started, didn't you? Look at her. Look at what she's doing already.
What's Crazy's channel?
Love is Love. Right, it's just Love is Love. I think your channel is, right.
There we go. All righty. So let me copy him.
Yeah, I believe I already subbed.
I like that opening video. That's pretty good. All right, so here you go, folks. I got a problem with your channel, Crazy, and the problem is you've only got 448 subscribers, folks. So you need to get over there and make sure that Crazy starts getting some love there. Everyone. So make sure you get over there and subscribe, and put it out there. Let her know that you all appreciate her. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, just wait. Once you're going to be hitting 1,000 before too long. So that's what would love to see for you, because it's believe me, once you hit that mark, it's pretty cool. So make sure, folks,
It's, isn't it?
here I am now subscribed to Crazy Love is Love.
It's wonderful.
So make sure that you're getting over there too. Let's see how's she doing so far.
Yeah, no, kicking butt, taking names.
454. So there we go. Where are you out of?
Sikhs have huge weddings. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where's Crazy Love is Love out of?
Is it Utah? Wait, where are you? Where's Crazy? I know it's not Colorado.
Utah.
Yeah, Utah. She's in Utah. Yeah. She's
Okay.
rocking it.
Yeah.
On her own.
Awesome.
She's rocking it on her own. So everyone go give us some love to Crazy Love is Love.
Mischief managed. So many people were getting mad about that rah thing. And
Really?
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, my openings, that little what that was the first female to ever don a Godzilla or kaiju uniform for one of the movies. And before they would do it, and she would actually sound out the roar and all that stuff before they put it in the editing. And I think that's one of the most adorable things I've seen. She was like 4'10", this little tiny little thing in that outfit. And it's I love it. But yeah, a lot of people were getting really mad about that. You're wasting so much time with that. I sometimes it feels like I can't do anything right without people finding something to be complaining about.
I haven't had anyone come at me yet. Well, yeah, we'll see when they do.
Marilee,
Yeah.
Sikhs definitely have crazy weddings. They go on for days. I tell you this, we've got a Sikh temple right down the road from us. Awesome food. Oh my gosh.
Oh, best.
Yeah.
The best. I will always seek out the Sikhs. They have, wherever you go, they have good food, and they're wonderful people.
The best Indian food I've ever had, I got in Tokyo. Unbelievable. I've been to India and had Indian food in India, but the one I went to in Tokyo was amazing. Both my daughter and I went, and my goodness, we walked out and we're just like, where did this place come from? Because I've never had Indian food this good. So
I've had Indian food here in America, and it's good, but I'm sorry, it doesn't compare to London Indian food. British Indian food is without a doubt the best.
Well, they actually make up their own plates there. I mean, they like tikka masala and things like that never
the best chips covered in curry sauce, thick, yummy, gooey curry sauce. Big old chips. Oh,
I'm still just a big fan of the salt and vinegar on them. To me, that's
that's good. That's good. But every now and then you got to have a chip with a curry. So I didn't see when I went back a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, this is new. We weren't doing this when I grew up here. But I tried it.
Outside of Indianapolis, there's a place, I think it's called Payne's, and the guy is a chef. He's from Britain. And he opened this little roadside, little exit kind of restaurant diner thing right there in Indiana, and amazing. It's just like the everything that I've had there so far is pretty much spot on with what I've had in UK.
Does he have good fish and chips?
Oh my gosh! And he's got, a piece of fish is like that big. You have to wait 4 hours because it's nuclear. But yeah, you salt and vinegar that and the chips, and oh my gosh, it's just so good. He even all of his condiments he has shipped over from the UK, so it's not like
sauce. I bet he's got brown sauce. Yeah, the
brown sauce. Yeah, I've got some up in the fridge. There's an international market. When we went down and spent the weekend with my mom, we always go to a place down in Cincinnati called Jungle Jim's, and it's a big international grocery store, and they've got it divided by the regions or the country. Yeah, so when we're there, we always get some brown sauce while we're in the British aisle.
Yeah, I got a really good shop, British shop, just not far from here, and I'm so pleased.
Yeah, we don't have any here in Detroit. It'd be nice if we had something like that around here, but we don't have a whole lot. A good friend of mine does the full English breakfast. Oh boy, the barbs.
I know. I'm dying laughing. Everyone's meditating right now.
There you go.
Barb. I
Trying
love
to
it.
look here. Gary Mackey was saying how he used to hate running the gauntlet at the airports, all the cults lined up.
Okay,
Yeah.
like in the movie, you used to
Yeah.
like have to walk through and like punch people out the way because they'd be, hey, would you like a Bible? Hey, would you like a this? Would you like a that? Ting, 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 and all the Hare Krishna. I miss the Hare Krishnas. I grew up in the 70s and I used to fly a lot. And I remember the Hare Krishnas were always at Heathrow Airport, always. And
Yeah.
I don't think they're there anymore. And it's
Now
so
it's
sad.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, I
When
don't do that.
when
I
Chad
don't
and I
do
got
good.
back to Detroit from Coldwater, when we landed, as we're waiting for my wife to come pick us up, we're sitting there and I look around and there's just dozens of Jehovah's Witnesses sitting there holding these signs about the truth and all this. And then I see down at the bottom JW, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So,
Yeah.
and Marilee, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we've got a temple just right down the road from us. And I took my kids down there just to introduce them to it so they knew what it was. And they were like, anytime, just if there's people here, stop in. We always have food and you're always welcome to come eat. And I'm like, yeah, boy. Let's see.
My daughter was raised in California. She's never left, but she loves a good Indian. And she eats the spicy stuff. I don't.
And for the person who was asking, if I ever hit 10,000, because I don't know what it is, I will jump up to the next level. Like right now, I'm at 9,700. And then I will slowly trickle down 10 to 20 subscribers under that and spend another week trying to build back up to it. So I don't know. I think it's because I think it's because you have to be a subscriber to the channel to comment, because we get so many trolls. You have to be a subscriber. And so people will subscribe, come in, and then they'll, a day or two later, they'll unsubscribe. So I think that's it. Let's see. As a never
Crazy
end,
Lovers Love, I'm gonna hold you to it. Sorry, whatever. Sorry, go ahead.
there you go. When you hit 500, you have something special for Cheryl. All right.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
As a never end, I now belong to so many cults: Arontology, Alohatology, Cubtology, Tautology, etc. And I love it. That's
See,
awesome.
you know why, Kathy? Because you're doing you, boo. And that's how we do around here.
That's right.
Do you, boo. Well, we don't do you, boo. No, that sounds naughty.
That
You do
yeah,
you,
that
boo.
sounds.
We do we, boo.
Let me see here. There
We're
we go.
booing.
I don't
See,
know.
because
Do something.
I am so jealous of that plaque. I'm so jealous.
I'll give it to you when we hit LA. So,
Yeah.
it took me about 15 minutes to make it with the laser.
It matches my spatula, John. I need it. My holy spatula. Do you know I can't use this for cooking anymore? Now it's part of the gig.
Yeah, what would that be? That would be you would be committing a religious crime.
Oh, so, blasphemy. Absolute and utter blasphemy using the spatula for a fried egg. Oh. Tautology. Oh, that's a good one.
Tautology. Yeah, the Nance cult.
Yes.
Namatology.
Did you see her, Satan? I don't know if you'll get monetized. Can I show you her?
That was hilarious. Would you go ahead and show it? And for everybody who doesn't remember, I've still got my cowboy body Thetan that Cheryl made for me. Let me make sure we get it focused there. But yeah, I keep that right here. Let's see.
So I got my little Poe on the go always right here because he's always making fun of me. He's like that. And then
you know what it needs? It needs tassels.
Yes. Oh, I've got to go to Michael's tomorrow. I'm buying Nancy some tassels.
What you need.
But I'm ready to like her and send her off.
Susie Overholtz has tautology.
Oh, Susie, love you, girl. Sending you lots of hugs and loves.
So yeah, I think that Nance should do mamtology. So
I saw caution tape today and I almost bought it. I was going to make myself a big.
Caution tape. I got police line do not cross tape. I got a couple rolls of that stuff here.
Really? Oh, can I have a roll?
Yeah, it used to be part of my call out bag. I had all that stuff in my bag, and I was like, when I retired, I'm like, what do I do with all that? And the chief goes, just keep it. And I'm like, there's not a whole lot in private sector I can do with this stuff, but okay. So, I had a bunch of stuff, the road flares and all that, and that we would carry in our bags when we go into work. Yeah. Yeah, it's and raid from Liz. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Liz. Thank you,
everybody.
Liz.
Wow.
I didn't know she wouldn't like.
Awesome.
I'll have to watch it. I'll have to catch up.
If you're just tuning in and you're coming in from that raid from Liz, we're talking about all the folks who've gotten out and they are still practicing Scientology tech in their private lives now. So howdy, everybody. Thank you for jumping in. Thank you, Liz. Love you too, hon. So let's see here. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you. And we're going to wrap up in a few minutes here, and we're going to have to find somebody else to raid, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Let's see. Is anybody else live right now, though? I don't think anybody else is live.
So there's still a lot of people out there who aren't Scientologists, but are still Scientologizing because they want to, and everyone can believe whatever they want.
Absolutely.
But they're not following all the horrible policies. They're just doing the beliefs the way they want to, the way that makes them feel good in their life. So there's a network out there. There's lots of them out there. And,
Absolutely.
People believe whatever you want to believe. Good for you. Whatever floats your boat, right? But
and I agree with that. I mean, if Scientology didn't have the horrible aspects of it that it does, we would be looking at it just like any other religion that's popped up,
right.
But when you add in the human trafficking, you add in the disconnection, you add in all the horrible things that are going on, that's why this has to be shut down. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses need to be targeted as well because of what they're doing. And they're right on the same pages on this stuff. And then you start looking into the Amish communities, things like that, where you have all of the essays on children by family members. You have a lot of forced marriages, things like that. So, I mean, there are a lot of them out there. It's just Scientology is the big dog, and it's the one you got to start somewhere. So start with the biggest, and the smaller ones fall much easier.
Because they've done a lot of damage to people. My family was just a lot of disconnection and not being loving to each other. Other Scientology families are a little more loving to each other. I've seen them. But, it really does. It's not great. But people believe. And also, they've put all his stupid tech on titanium plates. So his stuff's going to be out there forever. So I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think if Scientology dies, the buildings, if they go out of business, if Scientology falls apart, I still think the tech will still be out there and be used by people. I think it will, because it is right now.
All right. Let's see. And Crazy says it's in the works. It's going to happen right in front of the Scientology building, and it will be live. I believe she's talking about the 500 subscriber party. So that'd be really cool.
Go subscribe to Crazy Love is Love, because we got to see this.
Absolutely, folks. And I'll put the link in there for everybody who's just jumped in. But Crazy Love is Love, doing some great stuff out there. She's also got a family that are talking about jumping. They've already been in touch with the SPTV Foundation. But get over there, show her some love, and let her know you appreciate her. And this is what her channel looks like. I put the link in the description down in the chat down there for everybody. So get on over there, show her some. Listen how she's doing. She's already doing good. She's at 461 subs now, so doing great. So let's see here. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Indigo Twin. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Really do appreciate all the support.
Yeah, Perth. I think that's been one of the big things Scientology's done for a long time, is using different tactics to draw people in through various businesses. When you look at the training practices they're giving to like dentists and chiropractors and things like that, where they're showing them how to, you can run your business can be so much better if you use this program and all that. It's just basically a way of trying to indoctrinate your employees into Scientology, because it all leads back to Scientology.
Like my chiropractor, it's him and his wife. They don't have anyone else in the office. And you can tell he is just his look. You can tell the guy that did my optometrist, he's a Scientologist. You throw a stone around here and you hit a Scientologist. You can't not go to a chiro, a doctor around here that aren't Scientologists.
There are a few who've been sued by their employees and former employees because they were fired for refusing to partake in Scientology practices. So, and thank you, Windy City, for being in here. Agree with Farrell's assessment. Always, there's all, well, until they all start dying off, if we can get
they'll start dying off. But I still think there will be a core group that will still follow this nonsense. But to them, it's not nonsense. But to me, it is.
And this Sunrise, get the link ready for that for Carrie Ann's. It doesn't matter if she's a smaller channel or what. We want to see all the channels grow. Let's see here.
All of them. Dusty's channel. Go to Dusty's channel and sign up for him to sub to him. And I just know just everyone.
But he's so out of it. I don't know Dusty.
They've got there's two places that I know of. There's two buildings. One, I believe one of them's out in the hills in California, in the mountains. There's a symbol etched out on the grass so the LRH can see it from space and go, oh, that's where everything is. And he can zoom in and go down, and then his clothes have been washed, so his suit's been put out on the bed. He can just come in, grab his pipe and his shoes and his slippers and just get going. And then down underneath in the bunker in the basement is where all the titanium plates of all his wondrous writings are. So
we'll see. Know where that is? I'll pull it up on Google Earth. That would be interesting to see. Is it
Lake Arrowhead, up near the Arrowhead Mountains in California? I know it's up near Gold Base. I don't know if it's up that way somewhere.
Trying to think, where is his place there? I'll pull up the map and we can just you can guide us in.
Is it New Mexico? I think there's two buildings. One I think is in California though, and I think one might be in New Mexico. I do think New Mexico is one of them. I don't quite remember right now. But I think they have his junk in two spots, in two places, in bunkers.
Where Shelley is, isn't it?
Yeah. Twin Peaks, is that it? I think it's Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. Okay. Hold on a second. Let's get that in there then.
That's it, I think.
Let's see.
See, Lake Arrowhead.
Twin Peaks, California. There we go. Okay, so there's Twin Peaks, Arrowhead Pine. Let's see, Calvary Bible Baptist Church. Where would it be here, Cheryl? Because here's Twin Peaks right here. Didn't you spend a lot of time here in the Rim Forest?
No, not not the Rim Forest.
Maybe Dusty told me something different. I don't know, but
that was Dusty. That was him.
Let's see what's in chat.
I know they're up near Lake Arrowhead. There's like Gold Base, Int Base, but there's another building, another area. Is it Twin Peaks? Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember right now.
Let's see here.
There are 4 locations.
All right. What we got here? We've got.
Oh,
it just says
how do I
Twin
make
Peaks. Is that near Hemet? Is that where that is?
It should be, yeah. It's all around that area. In the mountains and Hemet area.
There we go. Hemet, California.
I've driven by Gold. I've driven down through Gold, past it, once when we were up at Crestline one year. Yeah, up near Crestline.
There we go. There's Golden Era Productions.
Yes. There it is. Yeah.
Let's
see. So
satellite.
I know they make I think they make the plate. Do they make the plates there? Well, Sky Daily, isn't her family, the ones involved in making the plates, the titanium plates? I think she's the one, Hulk Hogan's new wife. Her family owned the company that make the steel plates.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's this symbol.
Money.
It kind of looks like two circles and a triangle, or there's two triangles. I don't know, but there's a symbol you can see from space. And so that's for LRH to look down and go, oh, there's my peeps. There's my camp.
All right.
And head down and just,
All right, try it now, Sir Crepitus. Let's see here. There we go. You said it was two triangles, something else?
Yeah, it's either two triangles or two circles with a triangle. I know there's a symbol from space. And that might be the one in New Mexico.
Yeah, Sir Crepitus said he found one, but he's got a... There we go. Okay, cool.
The lake.
I'm trying to... I got to go into the actual YouTube channel for that one because it's a...
There's a different building away from Golden Era. It's not Golden Era. I think it's outside of there.
There we go. Okay, cool. I had to because in StreamYard you can't.
Okay, Windy City, Satan. There are 5 bunkers: Gold Base, Creston, Petrolia, Twin Peaks, and Trementina. That's right. There are 5.
That right there?
There are 5 bunkers. There it is. That's it. It looks like boobtology from space.
It does, doesn't it?
It's boobies.
It's the Nance.
See, it all comes down to memories in the end.
The Nance glyphics. That's what it is. So,
that's it. That's it right there. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, folks, I'm a never in. Cheryl, her father was in. He spent a lifetime practicing LRH tech. But, a lot of this stuff I learn as I'm going with, being part of SPTV. And I learn stuff every day. It's amazing. Let's see. Huge landing strip and an underground bunker, huh?
I didn't do any Scientology, but still having family in Scientology, just hearing them, just hearing certain things all my life. Now I have actual ex-Scientologists explaining these things to me, and like it's all coming together. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, yeah, things make so much sense now to me even. And I lived with this.
All right. So I forget who it was. One of the mods, Miss Sunrise Dawn, I think it was you who said that. Why don't you throw the link in there for Carrie Ann, and let's have everybody just go on over and raid Carrie Ann's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
is that Carrie Ann? I love her.
Tomorrow night, Sir Crepitus is going to be joining me. We've got some stuff coming up about LAPD and what's going on there. The Church of Spiritual Technology symbol, CST, is the mother church corporate wise.
Yeah. That's what it is. Thank you, Paralyzed.
And there it is. It's right there in the chat, folks. Cheryl, as always, thank you, hon. You're pretty much you're pretty much family here now. You're part of the channel, just like Chad, Sir Crepitus. You're part of this. Of this whole thing, and always appreciate having you on here. You're always fun. You keep things going, and I don't have to walk the chat as we're going through it, because you can keep things going pretty good, and I really appreciate having you on, especially on a day like today.
Yes.
All right.
I hope you feel better.
Thank you. Any parting words for everybody before we head on over to Carrie Ann's?
Be nice to each other, you lot. Behave.
Absolutely.
I love you all. I love you all.
And as always, folks, thank you so very much for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you. This fight is going to be a marathon. It's not going to be a sprint, but we can get there. We will see the end of this within our lifetime. Just a couple years ago, this is something that would have been impossible, but we got this and we can take care of it. We just have to keep our eyes on the prize and quit letting other things take our attention away from it.
Right.
Yeah. And, folks, responding to people like that, is essential. As I've said before, if someone tells a lie enough times, it becomes the truth in many people's eyes. So we have to confront it head on, and we have to make sure that we do what we've got to do. So
Right.
as always, thank you for being here. Life is short. You get one shot. Make it count.